Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down the most interesting new research papers into something you can actually understand.
And today we're diving into a topic that feels like it's been pulled straight out of science fiction. The paper is called Towards Execution-Grounded Automated AI Research.
It sounds complicated, but the core idea is simple and kind of mind-blowing. What if AI could do its own research? What if it could come up with new ideas to improve itself, test them, and then use that knowledge to get even smarter?
Exactly. We're talking about AI that doesn't just follow instructions, but actively tries to accelerate scientific discovery. This is the dream of recursive self-improvement, an AI that makes itself better, which then makes it even better at making itself better, and so on.
But there's a big problem that's been holding this idea back. If you've ever used an AI like ChatGPT for brainstorming, you'll know it's great at generating ideas that sound really plausible and intelligent.
Oh yeah, it can write you a very convincing sounding plan to solve world hunger or invent a new type of battery. But the authors of this paper point out that when actual human researchers take these AI-generated ideas and try to implement them, they often fall flat. They just don't work in the real world. There's a huge gap between a good sounding idea and a good working idea.
They call this the ideation-execution gap, and this paper is all about building a system to close that gap. They essentially built an automated AI scientist to run the whole research process from start to finish.
And this AI scientist has two main parts. First, there's the ideator. You can think of this as the creative brain of the operation. It's a large language model whose job is to come up with new research ideas, described in plain English.
And then comes the second crucial part, the executor. This is like the hard-working lab assistant. The executor's job is to take the idea from the ideator and actually make it real. It has to figure out how to turn a sentence into computer code, set up an experiment, run it on powerful supercomputers, and report back the results.
This executor system is really the heart of the paper. It's a whole automated pipeline. It has an AI implementer that writes the code, a scheduler that manages all the computer resources, and a fleet of workers, the actual GPUs, that run the experiments. It takes the idea and grounds it in the reality of execution. Does it work or not?
So, to test their new AI scientist, the researchers gave it two very real, very difficult challenges that human AI researchers are working on right now. The first was to make the process of training a brand new language model from scratch faster.
And the second was to take an existing AI model and make it better at a specific task, in this case, math reasoning. These aren't toy problems, they are genuine research frontiers.
So the AI scientist has its tasks. It generates an idea, the executor tests it and gets a result. Now the most important question, how does the AI learn from these results to come up with better ideas next time? The paper tested two different strategies. The first is called evolutionary search.
This is exactly what it sounds like. It's survival of the fittest, but for AI ideas. The system generates a whole batch of different ideas. The executor tests them all in parallel. The ideas that produce the best results are the survivors.
The system then takes these winning ideas and uses them as inspiration for the next generation. It might combine parts of two good ideas or make a small tweak to a successful one. It's evolution in action, and over many generations, the ideas are supposed to get better and better.
And the results were fantastic. This evolutionary approach worked incredibly well. In the math reasoning task, the AI scientists discovered a new method that achieved 69.4% accuracy, beating not only the original baseline of 48%, but also the best solution found by human graduate students in a Stanford class, which was 68.8%.
And on the task of making AI training faster, it was even more impressive. The baseline method took about 36 minutes to reach its goal. The AI scientist, through evolution, found a recipe that did it in just under 20 minutes. It almost doubled the speed.
That's a huge deal. But that was only the first learning strategy. They also tried another popular method called reinforcement learning.
Reinforcement learning, or RL, is more like training a dog. The AI generates an idea, the executor runs it. If the result is good, the AI gets a positive signal, a digital treat. If the result is bad, it gets nothing. Over thousands of trials, the AI learns to generate ideas that are more likely to earn it a treat.
But this is where things got really interesting because the results were completely different. Reinforcement learning did make the AI better, but only at being average. The average quality of its ideas went up. It got really good at generating safe, reliable, minor improvements.
But it completely failed to find any big breakthrough ideas. The best idea it ever produced was no better than what it started with, and this gets to a really deep point about scientific discovery. Science isn't about raising the average, it's about finding those top-tier, game-changing ideas.
The reason for this failure is a classic problem in RL called diversity collapse. The AI discovered one or two very simple, easy-to-implement tricks that gave it a small but reliable reward. And because its goal was just to maximize its total rewards, it just started spamming those same simple ideas over and over again.
It was like a student who figures out a trick to get a B- on every assignment and just does that forever. They stop trying for the A+ because it's harder and riskier, even though the payoff is much bigger. The AI stopped being creative and stopped exploring.
So, what's the big takeaway here? First, the paper shows that building an automated AI researcher is actually feasible. We can create systems that not only dream up ideas, but also test them in the real world.
Second, it shows that how you teach the AI to learn is critically important. For the creative, open-ended process of scientific discovery, an evolutionary, survival of the fittest approach seems much more effective than a simple reward-based system, which can get stuck in a rut.
Ultimately, this work is a foundational step. It's not about replacing human scientists tomorrow, but it opens the door to a future where AI can act as a true research collaborator, exploring thousands of ideas in parallel and helping us discover things we never would have found on our own.
It's a fascinating look at what might be the future of research itself, and that's all we have time for today on Daily Papers.
Join us next time as we unpack another big idea from the world of research.